Hello everyone, welcome back to Of Bricks and Dragons. Today we are looking at one of the sets that's been taking me darn near, it seems like forever to try and get together here. Okay, so I don't know the actual Lego set that this is based off of. I bought this a couple years ago. I bought this, it was actually on Amazon when I had bought it. As you ever hear, I pretty much only buy this stuff off of Amazon if I'm ordering offline. But either way, this is actually from a company that doesn't exist anymore. This is from Lepin. So Lepin was, unfortunately, they were knocking off a lot of actual Lego sets. I believe this was one of them. They were doing some of their own sets, which, I remember being on their website and saying, hey, some of their own sets did look pretty decent. I took a chance on it, a couple bigger buildings. I think the buildings were like $50 each. So we have a building that is actually, 4 levels, technically. Really, it's about 3 and a little bit of a loft. So, it was a good price for the size building. I will always say Lego itself is always one of the best brands to go with. The only thing is sometimes when you don't have the greatest amount of money on you, and you're trying to get something a little bit bigger, a little bit more challenging. So you might get some off-brand or something like that, and I fully understand that. I mean, I've been there before. I'll be there again, I'm sure. Legos get to be expensive at times, so as collectors and all that, sometimes we're just trying to find some other way to get the biggest bang for our buck. So that leads us to where we are today. So we're going to break this down. We're going to kind of go over it. I know the first level and a half, because I didn't fully get the whole second level done before. So I just spent like the last 2 days just trying to finish up the last bit of this building. So the good and the bad. See, this is where Lego really excels. Lego for a lot of the big sets here, and I've got the Death Star, or one of the Death Stars. So, when we get Lego sets and we're doing this, and hopefully I'm staying in camera because it's up a little bit more than what I normally have, because we have a huge part of the building. Normally when we have a bigger set like this, actually, let me change our camera a little bit here. Hopefully that'll help me a little bit, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not used to doing this in such a large size. So I don't normally have buildings this big. That's why I picked it up the way I did. You have like set 1, or bag 1, bag 2, whatever. Lepin here. They did what a lot of these other companies do. Here is everything, and then you have to dump all the bags out. Now you're trying to find this piece and then that piece, and when you have a couple, like over 1,000 pieces, a couple thousand pieces, it gets kind of daunting to try and sit here and say, okay, and here's that piece and that. The only nice thing I did find is like all the greens were in like 3 different bags. So I had like the 2s, I had 3s, and I had 4s, and then I had another bag with some longer pieces. So I'm going to pick up our road plates here so I can kind of get this a little closer and swing this around for us. The other thing is when I'm going through my instructions, and I know my eyes are not the best, I'm not a young kid anymore, but especially at the end here, I'm looking at this and the black, I have a lot of pieces that start blending into each other. So I was having a little bit of a hard time. I don't know if it's just how my glasses are, because I had gotten that blue light filter, and then I have it where it auto dims. So unfortunately, my glasses always seem like everything's a little darker to begin with, and that doesn't help me at all. Okay, so we're going to try and bring this a little closer. Look behind me, make sure that we can see everything here. All right, we're gonna break it down level by level, and then we'll go from here. So as we look at the face front, this looks very nice. And we have a little store in the bottom. I'll swing all this around here. So as you can see, we have some longer pieces and a lot of smaller pieces to brick this all up, and it looks really nice. We do have a back alleyway. We have a little bit of leafage kind of growing in here, you know, some garbage cans and stuff like that. And we have this emergency escape here, which is really nice. It is a little tricky trying to get everything to work out how it's supposed to go. I'm trying to keep everything upright. It's not bad. I'm you know, and maybe even Lego does it this way too. It's just trying to get everything. These arms to me always kind of loosened up after a while, so I'm not going to try and bash it or anything else. It's just trying to get everything to work as everything can kind of pick up here. And then we have a back entrance here, because this is kind of an alleyway here. And then we also have some Technic pegs here, so we can link this into another building. And I think if I look on this side, we actually have where we can link this one onto another building going this way. And I lost one of our gentlemen here. All right, so let me kind of get our minifigures. I don't think you can find this set anymore, but just looking at our minifigures, you know, we just have the print on the one side. It's the very basic faces. It's not like any of the modern faces that we have today. Little baby carriage, no baby in there, but again, everything is very plain and all that. I don't remember how old this set is. It's scary to sit here and think that I was just watching this set and there were someone talk about some of the old sets and they're from 2013. I was like, yeah, I remember picking those up and putting them together way back then, and I have sets, I think that this is even before that. So, you know, you're talking about sets 14, 15 plus years ago, and I'm finally getting around to putting some of these together. You know, and these are even being knockoffs of that, so, you know, the quality isn't always the best, but if you're just trying to save some money, yeah, that's what I did. All right, and we have a little Boy Scout here, and then we have a young lady that's managing or owning the shop or whatever. Okay, we do have a nice little street light here. We got our fire hydrant, and this is more of a European style building, so it looks very nice. Looks to have that very decent styling here. These, I think, were supposed to go up underneath that lamp, but I just couldn't get them to work correctly, so they're sitting the way that they are. Okay, and I'm going to try and lift all this up here so we can look inside here. And of course, then my fire escape kind of falls down. I'm afraid I'm going to set this off somewhere and I'm going to break it. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay. So, trying to get in here so you can see this very well. Alright. I think you can kind of see. I'll try and tilt a little bit. Hopefully I don't spill things all over the place. And it looks like I have a piece down here. If I can get it out. Oh, come on. So the problem is I have short, fat fingers. So I think this was meant to sit somewhere around here or something. I'm going to try and brick this in if I can. I don't think it wants to. I got a piece right in the way, I believe. Maybe I can do it here. I think I got it in there. I'm looking at this and I see things that look like they're kind of waving a little bit at me. Alright. Yeah, the whole thing seems like it's just barely sitting in there correctly. So, alright. I'm certain I'm going to point out things that you really don't see very well in here. So as we look in, hopefully you guys can see in here, you know, we have our apples, we have a couple other containers with some fruits and vegetables here. We do have like an entranceway. So here we have a nice little grocery store, just like a little corner mom and pop shop. We do have like a little freezer section here, and this does open. and they have bricked in here what looks like some butter and bread, and well, not bread, but milk and orange juice and stuff like that. And I can not really get my fingers in there. Normally with Legos, whenever we do doors like this, we have a round stud on there that we can put in there so we can open the doors a little easier. We don't have this on our set here. Now, to be honest, I don't know if they were doing it all the time way back then, because I'm saying if this is 15 years old. I don't remember if they were doing it back then, if that was a common practice then or not, but this is what we're used to doing today. Behind the register here, hopefully you guys can see it, I have a little hole, and in the back, underneath the steps here, I don't know how to get you guys to be able to see this. Maybe in the back. Maybe there is a little mouse in the back and a little yellow wedge to look like a piece of cheese. Like we have a mouse going in and out of the grocery store and stealing some cheese once in a while. So apparently we're going to need a little tomcat in there to try and help keep that mouse out of there. So we do have some little Easter eggs in here. You know, we have the door to open. Hopefully you're seeing this. And we do have some mailboxes for the people living upstairs. So you can get up to the apartments up above. So it looks pretty good. It was kind of interesting trying to get all this to go, and I couldn't find the plates that they had, so I grabbed one of my own green plates and we built it on top of that. And then of course then afterwards, because I had gotten two different sets, I put one together, the other one's still sitting there waiting to get put together. So we'll try and get going on that one too. See, and I already opened the box. Pandora's box has been opened, so we're going to try and put the other one together, and I will fuddle through that one too. But the architecture is really nice. I do like how the architecture was done. Lego had done this. They had copied it. It looks wonderful to me. I don't have any issues with that. That's kind of the charm of what I thought of when I saw these. Is like it looks really nice. The only sad thing I will say about Lepin is I do remember looking at some of their sets when they were up and running. And because it's a Chinese company, they did have some very nice Chinese themed buildings. I just didn't... They didn't have them up on eBay, or not on eBay, on Amazon. So I didn't take a chance on those. They did look nice, and I'm not going to knock them on that. I mean, they were making their own, but they're also trying to hit a wider audience to sell more stuff, so they copied Lego, which is what got them in their legal issues and that. So, all right, so we have our first level, and I'm going to kind of push this back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our second level here and try and separate this as I knock the camera a little bit. Okay, so now we have our first floor. So to sit here and say that if this was multiple apartments, I don't know how well that would work. I think this would all work if this was a single family, because we do have our stairway come up, and then you can walk around and you can kind of go up here. So we do have a fireplace, so this leads me to think that this would be more like your living room area. Maybe a dinette in here or something. I don't know. Kind of hard to say for me, but we do have this nice bay window, and that continues on up. So, and then we do have these, which putting together, I was trying to figure out exactly what direction we're going here, but when it's all together, it does look very nice. Like we have some nice curtains there, so that does have a very nice design. These are solid windows, so I'm just going to throw this out here. If I'm hoping that these would be like sliding windows or openable windows, because if we got flowers out here, I don't know how they're going to water their flowers. And we do have a little tomcat here, a little white cat that we have sitting here, so we can keep going up. Kind of plain on the back side, but you get to see how all nicely done this is here. Now, we do have a little spot here, not that you're going to fall through. And most people that I think that are putting this together are more adults, not so much as in the kid range. So I don't think you're going to have too much of an issue here. We do have this piece going through, and that's really there for nothing but to hold our fire escape open. And of course we have windows here, so you can crawl out the window and you can get to the fire escape, keep everybody safe and secure here. Looks wonderful, works pretty good for me. We don't have much in furniture inside, so maybe that'll be something I'll have to try and figure out how to get going on my own. So then we're going to stack this on top, so I keep everything kind of together here. If I can get her. There she is. Alright. Push that back. Now when we start looking at this, we have our top floor, our top actual floor. So as you can see, we have a rug in here. This looks like it's done up as a radiator, and of course we have our window going out. And then we have the top of what would be our chimney. And of course with that going through, the flue going through here, that should hopefully get some extra heat going out. And again, we have our stairwell coming up, and then you go around and you go up to our top floor here. Still no beds in here, no nothing, so it looks very nice on the outside. That's the biggest part. Maybe I can get some furniture together or something and maybe put a bed in here or something like that. I think this would probably be a good floor for like a bedroom. Maybe if I could put a little kitchenette or something in the floor underneath, but we'll figure that out along the way. Maybe not, I don't know. But you know, inside it's got room here that we can put whatever. And again, that bay window continues on, and then the way we have the architecture finishing off, and it's all capped off here, has that very nice European look to it. Very charming, especially when we look at like doing trains going through towns and stuff like that, which I think is more romanticized in a European setting than it is here in the United States, because quite often our trains going through in the United States are so much more just these big long cargo trains, not the more romanticized passenger trains and stuff like that. So this does work out really well to fit that bill, to say, hey, this is a little bit more romanticized, and that's typically the way I see it. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, and then we have our top floor, so I'm going to slide this on over. So really, this is not much more than just a shell, because there is nothing underneath here. It just looks like, you know, we just exit out of here. We have a little balcony to sit up on, and we can kind of just enjoy some weather, maybe watch the birds. We do have a little grill up here, so that was an interesting little build. And up here, I think you start seeing a little bit of fragmentation into some of the pieces. These right here were supposed to be the same as this, but for whatever reason I didn't have enough of these, so I kind of ran into problems. Now something else I'm going to say, because they had a ton of these, and I think it would have looked wonderful. Now typically Lego uses these as legs for like the skeletons and stuff like that, and these are done in black, but they are very, very hard to get in, and some of them I couldn't get in, so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to leave these off. But it was supposed to be a row of these, and then they were using hammers and that to kind of link it up, so that way it would give a little bit more architecture, which would have looked very nice. But seeing that some of these would fit, some of these wouldn't, I just kind of left them off. So, and I'm going to point out another piece in here for that very same reason. And of course we have our chimney, so, you know, technically I think you could probably stand up here and you know, maybe if I was to combine this with another set, maybe put like maybe from the Lego Friends, because some of them have telescopes and stuff like that. Maybe put a telescope up here so they can try and see the stars a little better. something like that, maybe even over here, who knows. So that same vein I was talking about where those little legs wouldn't fit, we actually had this built up a little bit here, and I'm hoping you guys can see this. So I'm pointing over here. Yep, okay. These 4 pieces right here were supposed to have those little legs in here as well, and a little bar on top. But I had that same problem. I just could not get those legs to sit in here. So I just left it the way it is. I was like, well, it's just going to be boxed up here, you know. This is the problem with some of the Lego knockoffs, and then why so many people will sit there and say they will only buy Lego. I understand that. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to say I'm Bricks and Dragons, not seeing just straight Lego, because sometimes you want to just give a shot at something else. Normally I find something that's fairly inexpensive, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, I'm not out a lot of money. And sometimes, I feel other people are kind of wondering, if I pick this up, is it going to be worth it? And because I've picked up some of the military stuff from some of the other manufacturers, some of these people are trying to use this for doing war displays and stuff like that, because that's what suits them. What works, what doesn't work, all that. So kind of what I'm kind of hoping for. And of course, because I love doing role-playing games, this would be a nice little piece. More importantly, whenever I do get around to getting to the city, I'm hoping to have a couple of these up here as maybe some of the earlier buildings. Maybe other stuff has been torn down and we have other newer buildings in the background. Who knows? But either way, it adds a little extra flavor there. And of course, my piece likes to bounce up. So now I'm doing this. And what I might have to do is I might have to have this come out and actually link up with another piece or something. But we'll figure that all out. But here it is. It's finally together. You guys got a quick overview of everything. Tell me what you think. I think it looks really nice. Having all the bags having to be opened and fished through everything is really a pain. It adds a lot of challenge, but it also adds a lot of headaches. I love building things because it just kind of helps ease my mind at times. Maybe it's therapy for me. Either way, it's just frustrating when you're always trying to find, okay, where is this piece? Is it this one or is it this one? Because sometimes you have colors that are close. We had a dark green in here. I'm trying to see if I can figure out. Underneath here, we have like a really dark green. And I had a black piece for underneath one of the stair pieces. I grabbed one of the really dark green blocks. It was a 2x2 brick, because I couldn't find a black one, and I never did find the actual black one, but I did find another black one that wasn't used anywhere else, so I ended up having to substitute that piece underneath here. So sometimes things don't work out with some of these. I don't know if their quality control is quite there. We do the best we can. So this is why I think, like I said before, a lot of people just prefer to stay with Lego, because we know the quality that we normally get with Lego, and typically I think the quality is a little bit better. But after taking time and getting frustrated and getting this all together, which I do get a little frustrated at times, is like, come on, I just can't find the pieces because I got to look through everything. And I'll kind of show you here. I'm gonna, just as a little show, because I have the other one, and I'll show you what the bag looks like when you get it. So this is my bag for the next build. So as you can see, here we are. There's the bag, and everything's got to get dumped all out over everything. And I want to say, I think this is like 1,500 pieces maybe. But we'll get going on this at some point here. Hopefully sometime soon. I will try and, if I can get some extra things knocked out so I don't need the pool table, and then I can maybe spend a week or two or whatever trying to get all this together. sometimes the time gets a little limited as to what I can spend, and other things going on with the family. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at, and this will just have to get dumped all on the pool table, sorted out and whatever, and we will have to go from there. But we'll get her going here sometime soon, and we'll see how the next one goes. But with that, thank you so very much for joining me. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.